So we're on the upper Mississippi River right now, late summer, early fall, kind of that transition where there's a lot of different things happening. But for me personally, what I like to target is it's all about shad. So finding those areas with the shad, where the fish are migrating to, and there's a few baits and techniques that I really like to use this time of year. First one would definitely be a fluke style jerk shad like this. This happens to be a big bite jerk shad. I'll typically rig it weightless. I prefer a 5/0 offset round bend, something a little heavier. I don't like to put weight on it, but if you put a little heavier hook on there, it'll make it stay down a little bit. You can work it a little bit faster, which I think in a lot of cases, speed is good. If you can get them to react to it, that jerk shad it's really, really deadly, super effective. You can fish it in the area kind of like what we're doing right here, where we're kind of on a shallow eelgrass line. What'll happen is those bait will kind of run the edge or get up in there. So it's really effective for that, but it's also really good out on wing dams. When them fish get up on the top of the wing dams chasing the shad, it's really tough to beat this because you can keep it high like a topwater and not get it hung up a lot, and they eat it. So fluke is definitely in the top 3 baits of what you want to have tied on. The next one really any time of the year on the Mississippi or any river system, you gotta have a swim jig. This is a 3/8 ounce Creegee Sakana Panic pearl. I don't get crazy on color, either a pearl or white or a pearl chartreuse. I'll typically pair it with a paddle tail swim bait. This is a big bite pro swimmer, and this is a 3/8 ounce. I'll typically have a 3/8 and a 1/4 ounce depending upon the depth or how fast I want to fish it. And same deal, fish it in the grass, fish it on top of the wing dams, fish it on sand drops, anywhere those fish have them shad cooped up where they're eating them. A swim jig is really, really effective. Fish it high in the water column. If you get on a sand drop, you can wind it slow, almost on the bottom, and crawl it, just depending upon how those fish are reacting to it. But super versatile, just something you have to have tied on whenever you go to a river system, especially the Mississippi River. And then the last thing that kind of goes against the trend of shad, but it's one of those baits or rigs that I like to use so say I'm fishing a sand drop or a wing dam, somewhere where I've been catching them on a fluke or a topwater or a swim jig. A lot of times those fish will get conditioned, and then you pick up a Carolina rig, something that you're going to drag on the bottom. I don't typically run a super long leader. A 1/2 ounce weight most of the time will get the job done on the Mississippi River, depending on the flow, obviously. And then I'll put a craw style bait on it. This is the new big bite quarantine craw in the Sensation, which I really, really like. The scent and the plastic in that whole lineup is really soft, works really, really well. So it's just kind of like a stick bait with craw pinchers on it, but you could throw a lot of different baits and just cast it out, drag it on the bottom. You'll feel the sand, shell, rock. It's just a good thing to kind of clean up the area with. You're going to pick up a few extra fish, and there's times where they'll prefer this over any of the shad profile stuff. So concentrate on the shad and then clean up with a Carolina rig.